Y'all, I watched Fatal Affair on Netflix starring Nia Long and Omar Epps, and I only have one question. Why? Hey guys, welcome to my channel Candy and Popcorn. I'm Candice James, and here we talk about all things TV and movies. I tell you what to watch, give you really great reviews, and there's always cocktails. So let's get started. And for this video, there will be spoilers, so watch out. Y'all, Fatal Affair was such a cliche. At some points, it felt like a really bad Tyler Perry film, although we know it wasn't. Otherwise, Omar Epps would probably be in a really bad wig. Guys, there wasn't even an affair. All that happened was they flirted, they kissed, and then she ran away. That's not the definition of an affair. So I think we should rename this. This should be Fatal Flirtation or Fatal Entanglement starring Jada Pinkett Smith, or maybe Fatal Letdown, because that's exactly what this movie was. Y'all, this movie gave us nothing new. We've seen things like this before. Do you remember the movie Obsessed with Beyonce and Idris Elba? Or Chloe with Liam Neeson and Amanda Seyfried? It's the same premise. Man becomes obsessed with a woman. He begins to stalk her and finds really creepy ways to needle himself into her life. And then that stalking leads to violence. End of story. Omar Epps and Nia Long, my Black Hollywood royals. Why did y'all accept to do this movie? You are better than this. Not Omar Epps, who played Quincy in Love and Basketball. Not Omar Epps, who played Dr. Eric Forsman on House. And certainly not Omar Epps, who played Q in Juice beside the GOAT, Tupac Shakur. Not that Omar Epps. And not Nia Long, who gave us life in The Best Man Holidays, and Boys in the Hood. Nia Long, what are you doing? Did y'all just need the money? Is that it? Is this why you accepted this role? Because I don't understand. Now, taking a look and doing some research, Nia Long did have only one movie last year, which is 47 Meters Down, the sequel. And that movie had a budget of $12 million, but the box office made 3 times as much with about $37.5 million in worldwide earnings. So I think Nia Long should be doing pretty okay. Although I did check her net worth on celebritynetworth.com, and we'll talk about celebrity net worth a little bit later, but she is worth about $13 million. So you got the money, why? Omar, on the other hand, did have 2 movies that he filmed last year. One was called Trick, and the other one was 30-20-22. Both were low budget. While I couldn't find any financials for that, it did state that these were low budget films. And again, Celebrity Net Worth says that Omar is worth about $15 million. So again, why are we taking shit films, guys? Why did you say yes to this? I don't understand. So today's drink is a rum cream, specifically Wray and Nephew rum cream. This is one of my favorite brands of rum cream. I recently just traveled to Jamaica, and I always bring back a couple extra bottles of this, and this has about 15% alcohol, so a couple glasses and you will be singing. Feeling hot, hot, hot. While this specific brand of rum cream may be a little harder to find at your local liquor store, you might get lucky at Total Wines, but if not, guys, Bailey's is a great substitute. Okay, so if financial necessity isn't the reason why they're taking such a bad role, maybe it's because of business relationships, or they want to support a friend in the industry. But I did take a look at both the writer, the director, and the production company to see if there were any overlapping credits between them and Nia Long and Omar Epps. And what I found was this was the first time that either actor was working with this specific production company, and this was also the first time that they were working with both the writer and the director, who is Peter Sullivan. So again, this isn't in support of a dear friend. These guys have never met before. Funny enough, the director, Peter Sullivan, also directed the movie Secret Affair on Netflix starring Brenda Song, which is the exact same premise of a creepy stalker guy. And so this guy is simply just reusing the same script all over again. And a side note, look how many Christmas films this guy's directed. Gunther's decided to join us again. So I don't think that they took this film because of any professional association, at least none that I could corroborate. Nia Long and Omar Epps do know each other from filming previous films called Alfie and In Too Deep, but I can't see Omar Epps getting this film and saying, oh, this is so great. Let me call my girl Nia and see if she wants in on the action. And let's be honest, If that did happen, his first call would have probably been to Sanaa Lathan, and she would have had the good sense to say no. So I still can't figure out why these two acting gods that have such great credits behind them and has done such great work would ever choose to do this garbage movie. Since we've ruled out professional relationships, as well as being so inspired by this script that they've invited the other actor along, it's gotta go back to maybe financials. So let's take a look at celebrity net worth again. We know that these sites are notorious for being wrong. They're wildly inaccurate. There is no proof of their calculation methods. They claim to have a proprietary algorithm for calculating these net worths, but proprietary just means unsubstantiated. And a lot of times these clickbaity articles are written by freelance writers instead of actual journalists. And check out these articles in both the New York Times and the Guardians, in which several celebrities have come out saying that the celebrity net worth numbers are wildly inaccurate. I'll post those links in the description. So most likely, Nia and Omar didn't have $13 and $15 million laying around in houses, gold bars, and stocks. So they're probably hard up for cash, which is why they said yes to this garbage movie. As a solution, I have created this GoFundMe campaign to raise money for both Omar and Nia so that they can continue to be the Hollywood royals that we all know them and love them for, and that they're able to pass on these garbage ass scripts that come their way. Please help me by donating and allowing these Hollywood gems to maintain their status as bona fide stars with some goddamn sense. Or I don't know, maybe they were just bored. But guys, what the But all jokes aside, guys, I don't know these people's pockets. They are probably living quite well. Surely better than me. And in reality, financial hardship is probably not the reason that they would have taken this role. We all know that Black and minority actors receive less pay and opportunity as compared to their white counterparts. But wait! Don't stop watching just because I mentioned race. Give me a chance to prove this with some cold hard facts. Do you remember this clip of Viola Davis in which she was comparing her acting prowess as well as her body of work to other white actresses such as Meryl Streep, Sigourney Weaver, and Julianne Moore? She made the claim that she has a career that is very similar and prominent as these women, but she is not receiving the same level of opportunity or money as some of these women. So let's put that to the test. How does Viola's career and earnings stack up against these three women? Let's take a look at this table that compares some metrics across these four women. I was able to pull this information from IMDb, thenumbers.com, as well as celebritynetworth.com. Now I know we did talk about the inaccuracies of celebrity net worth, but as there's not another way to figure out what their net earnings actually are, in staying consistent, I'm gonna use celebrity net worth here as well. So I calculated the amount of time that each woman has been in the business, as well as the number of acting credits that each of these women have. And what we see with Viola is that she has been in the business for less time than each of these three women, but she has similar, if not more, acting credits than some of them. And so when you normalize this and take a look at, well, how hard is she working? On average, how many films do each of these actors produce a year? And we see that Viola produces about 3.6, almost 4 films a year, which completely outpaces the other three actors. The other three women, on average, do about 2 movies per year. So we see that over her short 24 years in this business, Viola Davis has been working harder and pumping out more movies per year than the other three women. Now let's take a look at box office draw, which means of all the movies that these women have acted in, how much money did these movies earn? And so what we see is Meryl Streep is the GOAT. Meryl Streep's movies have earned about $43.5 billion over her career. And with the other women, we see that their movies have brought in less than $10 billion over their careers. Now, the numbers.com, where I pulled this information, doesn't have every single acting credit that each of these women have done, and therefore we might be leaving some money on the table. So let's normalize this and see, for what they do have, on average, how much money is each of these films making. So again, we see that Meryl Streep far outpaces her competition, because on average, when she acts in a movie, that movie will earn about $600 million. But what else do we see here? We actually see that Viola Davis's box office earnings are actually on par with Julianne Moore's. On average, when Viola stars in a movie, she brings in $71 million in earnings for that movie, whereas Julianne Moore brings in about $72 million. So we're seeing that these two women are pretty much neck and neck in terms of when they act in a movie, that movie's probably gonna make about the same amount of money internationally in the box office. And let's also take a look at award wins. So again, Meryl Streep's the GOAT, and she quite outpaces the competition again with 177 award wins over her career span. But again, let's take a look at Viola Davis and Julianne Moore. Here we see that Viola and Julianne have almost the same amount of awards over their career. We see that Viola to date has won 92 awards and Julianne to date has won 115. But let's take a look at the rate of which they actually win awards, because a lot of times you get nominated but you don't win. Again, we see that these numbers are on par. Viola, on average, will win 39% of the awards that she's nominated for, whereas Julianne Moore receives 42. So this is only a 3% gap. So these women, in terms of the percentage of times that they will win an award, they're pretty much neck and neck, and they're pretty much right on top of each other. So what does this tell us? We know here that Meryl Streep is the GOAT. Her movies significantly make more money than each of the other three actors, and she also has won more awards. But in Viola's case, what we see is that she works harder than all three of these women in the number of movies that she put out per year. In terms of box office draw, her movies are on par with Julianne Moore's. And in terms of award wins, she's also on par with Julianne Moore, having won about the same percentage of awards as Julianne Moore. But then let's take a look at their net worth. So again, using celebritynetworth.com, we know that this is somewhat inaccurate, but we don't have another method of knowing what these women's financials are. And so we see that Viola Davis earns $12 million per year. So let's take a look at the others. Meryl Streep, being the GOAT here, has a net worth of $90 million. But both Julianne Moore and Sigourney Weaver have net worth of $50 million. So when we take a look at these women all together, you do see that Viola's career is comparable to Julianne Moore, and in some cases even better in terms of wins than Sigourney Weaver. And she also works harder than these women. But we see that that is not reflected in her pay, as although she outranks some of these women or are on par with them, she earns significantly less than all three. Therefore, while Nia Long and Omar Epps are in fact seasoned actors, they probably aren't receiving the same caliber of opportunities and pay as their white counterparts. And therefore, they're forced to settle for these quite lackluster roles. And that is the most plausible reason as to why these two acting gods accepted these shit roles in this awful movie, Fatal Affair. So that's it, guys. That is my hard take on The Fatal Affair on Netflix. Go watch, you'll have a nice laugh, you'll enjoy yourself, but I promise you it's not a movie that you'll ever watch twice. And remember, guys, my channel is a dialogue, not a monologue, so I want to hear what you have to say. Find me in the comments, find me on social media, like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell. You know the bell that I'm talking about. That bell. Hit the bell so you know exactly when I post. I upload videos every 1st and 15th of the month with lots of juicy bonus content in between. So stay tuned, and until next time, cheers.